One of the most important focuses in the life of the Interfaith Center is the annual James Parks Morton Award. This is the 10th award coming up. And tell me a little bit about this year and the history of the award.
So this year, on June 11th at the Tribeca rooftop, we will be having the 10th annual James Parks Morton Interfaith Award, honoring Nobel Peace Prize laureate Leymah Gbowee and filmmaker Abigail Disney. And this is it's such an important event. It is named after our founder, the Very Reverend James Parks Morton. In the past, we have honored many Nobel laureates, from Bishop Desmond Tutu to Shirin Ebadi and Mohammed El-Baradi, also artists ranging from Philippe Petit to Wynton Marsalis and Philip Glass, and our former President Bill Clinton as well, recognizing that people in different walks of life who embody the values of peace and interfaith understanding that Jim Morton himself has dedicated his life to. This year, we are so excited to have particularly Leymah Gbowee and Abigail Disney, because the work that Leymah Gbowee did, that Abigail Disney documents in her Pray the Devil Back to Hell, is an extraordinary example of interfaith peacemaking. Leymah Gbowee, as you may know, is a Christian woman activist who got other Christian women at the time when Charles Taylor and the rebels in Liberia were terrorizing the country. She sat down with these women and Muslim women who were tired of war, and they had a nonviolent protest that took many weeks outside the president's palace, and put their bodies on the line and came forward to ask President Taylor if he could please stop the war, the rape, the killing, all these atrocities that had made life so miserable for them and their family. They didn't stop there. The Muslim women went and challenged the rebels to put their arms down, and they got as far as peace talks in the Ivory Coast. When those peace talks were stalling because everyone was happy inside ordering room service, those women again occupied the hallways of the hotel and said, "We're not going to move until you come to a real peace agreement." And then when that agreement was actually signed and begun to be implemented, they worked together to elect the first women head of state in an African country, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So the work that they did and the story that was so close to being lost, as so many women's stories are in history, was caught by Abigail Disney, who realized that something extraordinary had happened and dedicated many years of her life to documenting that story.
That was her first entry into the filmmaking. Obviously, she has a storied history with her family, but this was her first venture into the world of documentaries.
Well, she has done an extraordinary job with Pray the Devil Back to Hell, and then another series that aired this past fall on PBS, Women, War, and Peace. She is a dedicated filmmaker and activist that has really identified something that's been in operation for many hundreds of years, and that is the role that women of faith have played in creating a safer world.
Money, greed, ethnicity,
absolute power.
There is nothing that should make people do what they did to the children of Liberia. The warlords gave these boys guns and sent them off.
They just do anything because they had guns.
You go to bed saying, "God, please, what do we do?" I had a dream, and it was like a crazy dream. We decided to protest. We wore the white, saying to people we were out for peace.
Thousands of women, Muslim and Christian, were coming together,
calling for peace. These women had seen the worst, but they still had that vibrance for life.
And we said, well, if I should get killed, just remember me that I was fighting for peace.
we stepped out first and did the unimaginable. To send out a signal to the world that we, the Liberian women, we are tired of the killing of our people. We can do it again if we want to.
I want to here now gratefully acknowledge the powerful voice of women.
So June 11th again is we'll be airing the film, then presenting the awards, and more can be learned about it on our website at www.interfaithcenter.org.
One of the cultural elements of the Interfaith Center that's a leitmotif from the very beginning is arts. You mentioned Philip Glass, MARSALIS, but there's always been the arts. This year we have the Forces of Nature.
That's right.
And they are a tremendously vital dance group that just bring these things to life. And I'm looking forward to them as well.
No, it's going to be an incredibly exciting evening, and you know, we hope that everyone will join us for it.
And we have a wonderful moderator.
Dr.
Alfonso
Alfonso Wyatt with the AME Cathedral, and formerly with the Fund for the City of New York, an extraordinary leader in New York City and mentor to so many, and a real founding presence of the Interfaith Center of New York. So we are thrilled that he'll be the MC for the evening.
And people will have an opportunity to take away a very tangible memento. They're going to be quilts that have been produced in Liberia. Right. They're really visual. You can see them up on the screen right now. They're just wonderful exemplars of what happens when people cooperatively work together to produce something of beauty.
Yeah, it's that is an amazing part of the evening as well, which you know, the Liberian Women's Cooperative that has produced these quilts have, you know, with their own hands given us artwork that is something that we can treasure. And I think they'll also be doing something really special, a quilt that actually has Leymah Gbowee and Abigail Disney's image on it. So that will be something that they're just doing for the evening.